And it's another episode of Afroshowbiz News. I am Musam Kalipi, and as always, we're here to bring you all things art and entertainment from around Africa. So do talk to us by simply emailing us at afroshowbiznews@sabc.co.za. Also follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @AfroShowbizNews. But first up, today's headlines. South Africa bids farewell to its jazz giant. Africa's fashion shows fail to feed exhibitors. And Egyptian musician uses craft to rehabilitate disadvantaged children. South Africa has bid a farewell to one of its jazz icons, Pat Matshikiza. He was a prolific composer and pianist. The moving ceremony was attended by scores of jazz fanatics, journalists, and relatives. He was buried at his hometown in Queenstown in the Eastern Cape province.
Musician Pat Matshikiza's music left an indelible mark on South Africa's musical landscape. Born into a musical family in 1938, Matshikiza's pianist father, Mikli Matshikiza, laid the foundation for the young Pat who, at the age of 7, took up playing organ in church. His talent for composing could be attributed to his lineage. His paternal uncle, Tot Matshikiza, who composed Hamba Kahle and the landmark South African musical King Kong. Pat is popularly known to have composed hits like Chona with Kipi Mwekezi, Mekay Davashe, and Makaya Nchoko, among others. Having composed some of the country's greatest jazz music and played alongside most renowned musicians, the latter part of Matshikiza's life brought to light a figure who should have been more celebrated instead of one who was almost forgotten.
2014 was a big year for African films and TV productions, with many of them having been nominated for awards overseas. Among the big achievers in the film industry was Kenyan actress Lupita Nyong'o. She won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in her role as the hard-working slave Patsy in 12 Years a Slave. We can only hope that Africans can once more fly the flag high in both box offices and television.
You admit it?
Yes, really. And you know why? I got this from Mrs. Shaw.
The actress says she wept when she finally saw herself on screen after playing Patsy.
I stink so much I make myself gag. It was a cathartic experience. It was very emotional for me, and I was a wreck. I definitely did a lot of crying. I mean, I was very invested in the Solomon Northup story and just marveled at the fact that I had the privilege of being a part of it. I felt very honored.
But while Nyong'o's performance in Hollywood garnered critical acclaim for the film, her fashion choices during awards season made her a style icon. For months, Nyong'o wowed the world with her elegant and colorful gowns, becoming the ultimate toast of Hollywood in 2014. After winning the Academy Award and a lucrative advertising deal, the actress was named the world's most beautiful woman for 2014 by People magazine.
Happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence.
Thank you.
Another African woman who made headline was Nigeria's Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. The adaptation of the Adichie Award-winning novel Half of a Yellow Sun made a special debut in Nigerian cinemas, bringing its star cast to the commercial capital Lagos and drawing widespread praise from the selected viewers. British actor Chiwetel Ejiofor, who is originally from Nigeria, was nominated for an Oscar award as well as receiving a BAFTA award for his role. The film was first premiered in Canada and later on in the United Kingdom. Ejiofor and the film's director Biyi Bandele walked the red carpet alongside Nigerian dignitaries and novelist Ngozi Adichie, who won the Orange Prize for the book.
I think it's a part of our history that's important that we talk about. So I hope that it makes Nigerians not just aware of our history, but start to ask questions about our history, because I think our present is very much also a product of our history. And I think it's important that we learn what happened so that we make sure it never happens again.
A documentary film shot in the Democratic Republic of Congo also garnered international acclaim. Virunga highlights the situation of Africa's oldest national park. The film focuses on British oil company Soco International's interest in exploring the oil park. Director Orlando Von Essendale shared his sentiments.
It just happened that while I was there, that happened several different times, and I probably, if I'd have had a choice, I probably would have rather, if I knew it was definitely coming, I would have tried to avoid it because it's incredibly scary. And I mean, you know, I'm lucky enough that as a foreign journalist, filmmaker, in there I can sort of nip away and leave, but local people have to put up with that, and they have done for over 20 years.
And finally, on local shores, South African soap opera Generations kept African audiences captivated for nearly 2 decades. Launched in 1994, Generations is the longest-running show on South Africa's public broadcaster. The show follows the lives of rival media mogul families battling for supremacy in the competitive industry. But the actors of the popular soapie faced drama of their own this year. 16 Generations actors were fired over pay dispute with their producers. The actors had gone on strike demanding a pay rise, but that was rejected. According to local media reports, the Generation actors were paid between 16,000 rands and 20,000 rands a week. South Africa's concept 99% Zulu stand-up comedy is now celebrating 10 years of existence. The concept arguably made vernacular stand-up comedy fashionable in the country. Now we are joined from our Durban studios by Monwabisi Grootboom, who is the organizer of the show. Monwabisi, welcome to Afroshowbiz News.
Thank you, Siswam. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. Now, Monwabisi, why do you feel that you were the first group to introduce vernacular stand-up comedy?
Well, it was at the time when it was unfashionable to do, you know, especially comedy in Africa, in any African language, especially to commercialize it. And at the time, we certainly knew of no other show that was produced in an African language. And I'm aware now that there are some that have actually come up, which is a very great thing, you know, as well.
Okay, now Monwabisi, tell us a bit more about vernacular comedy. How did it maybe come about?
Gosh, there are a number of reasons. Look, firstly, the 99% Zulu comedy began as 100% Zulu comedy in 2004. In 2005, it was changed to 99% Zulu. South Africans, and particularly black South Africans, I'm coming from the school of thought that says that a lot of us tend to believe that anything that is done, you know, in English, we would tend to receive it a whole lot more than stuff that is done in an African language. And to make, you know, vernac comedy, which was popular and still is popular, you know, in English, and do it in a vernac language, you know, it then became something to do, you know, and a way to go for us. But also, secondly, there are just gags which you cannot express properly, you know, in English, and they will be best appreciated in an African language. And furthermore, you know, the death of our African language, and especially indigenous languages in South Africa, is mostly as a result of us being an anglicized, you know, country to the detriment of our African languages.
All right. Now, Monwabisi, you mentioned that it was first called 100% and now it's 99% Zulu.
Yes.
What is missing? Why did you decide to move from 100 to 99%?
Well, I think firstly, it started in Durban. So I had an Indian friend, so who said, "Why go 100% and not 99%?" But more seriously, the audience, you know, of the show began to grow so much that they began to dictate the direction of the show. So much that it was not so much the lineup of the show that determines, you know, the show, but it became the audience that determined the show. So you would have people who are non-Zulu speakers, you know, in the show, and then which then forced us to change direction a little bit so that we were able to incorporate artists artists that are non-Zulu as well. And for interest's sake, the show grew into other languages as well, in terms of vernacular languages as well.
All right, now, Monwabisi, what is going to be different this year as compared to the previous years?
This year we've got a couple of plans and a number of plans. This year we're celebrating our 10th anniversary, and the whole year is dedicated to that celebration. We're beginning in February, with KZN. We're launching the celebration in KZN on the 6th and 7th in Maritzburg and Richards Bay, and in Durban at the Durban Playhouse on the 13th and 14th of February. Then it goes on to Joburg with Gold Reef City in March. There's other, provinces as well that we're visiting, as well. So there's a whole lot of big plans that are planned, which involve television, as well, which we will go to for the first time this year. There's a festival later in October, 1st to the 4th of October, that is planned, around the concept. So there's really big plans that we've.
To interrupt you there. Sorry so much, but I'm going to have to interrupt you there because time is up. But thank you so much for joining us. All right, that was Monwabisi Grootboom talking to us about 99% Zulu. Let's go for a quick ad break, so do stay tuned.
Zoom into Africa. This is Ghana. The president is Mr. John Dramani Mahama. Ghana got independent from the United Kingdom on 6 March in 1957. The population is more than 25 million people. One of Ghana's major languages spoken is English. Monetary unit is cedi.
Welcome back. Africa's fashion continues to inspire world trends, but the industry is still struggling to win the kind of support enjoyed by fashion players in other parts of the world.
Last year's event also saw the official launch of Africa Fashion TV, a channel dedicated to all things fashion. Organizers hope through the channel to encourage a demand for local African designs where buyers often opt for Western styles.
We are seeing increasing press coverage of the event, which has also contributed to the growing popularity of the event, which is good. But unfortunately, the only negative thing is that I feel a lack of support from my country, which is a real shame.
Nigeria held the 4th edition of the Lagos and Design Week, attracting more than 40 of the country's top and up-and-coming designers. The event also gave young designers the exposure that has helped launch many careers in the difficult fashion business, where standing out is getting tougher as the industry grows.
I've been very happy because we've had a very good mix. There's Ken Eze that just showcased recently, and he had this very flowy, easy gowns, like, that kind of thing you would wear if you were a Hindu, like very peaceful collection, very calm, very tranquil. I really like that.
In South Africa, the annual Mercedes-Benz Cape Town Fashion Week has come to epitomize what is edgy and fashion-forward in Africa fashion, and last year was no different, with powerhouse names such as Marion Fessler and Gavin Roger on the lineup. Last year's collection showed why South Africa has become one of Africa's top destinations.
Gavin's aesthetic has always been his appreciation of femininity, his passion for really good quality fabrics. There's always beautiful lace. There's always some form of refinement.
In Ethiopia, last year's African Mosaic showcased how fashion can be used as a tool to improve people's lives, while also promoting young and upcoming designers. Proceeds from the event went towards Getana's Ethiopian Children's Fund, which feeds and educates around 700 children in Aletu town, some 55 kilometers north of Addis Ababa.
Africa Mosaic started as a non-profit initiative really to bring together designers together to showcase, but also to be able to provide them mentoring and training so that they could hopefully network, they can meet, they can travel, because within Africa we're not as mobile. I've had the opportunity to travel to 30 countries in Africa, and from my childhood, and I've learned so much, and it's really has inspired me, and that's why I always love and enjoy developing Pan-African collection.
Organizations such as the Fashion and Arts for Peace Festival South Sudan always raise money and awareness on the plight of thousands of South Sudanese affected by the country's ongoing political crisis. The event is done to promote peace and tolerance in South Sudan through artistic expression.
An Egyptian jewelry designer, as a Fanmi, is surely living her dream now. Fanmi has beaten all the odds to become one of the biggest names in jewelry design, not just in Egypt and beyond. What started as a few item store is now an attraction to big-time celebrities of the moment. Fanmi set up her stall in 1989, and for the past 45 years, she has been nurturing her design business into an international brand.
Fanmi's brand grew and now has almost 190 workers in her Cairo factory, workshop and design studio. She says her first designs were a few small rings that were sold at her first exhibition. Egyptians are now decorating themselves with rings and necklaces made by traditional jewelers. Fanmi currently works with her two daughters and says she learned about craft at a popular local market, Khan al-Khalili, instead of going to university.
Instead of going to study for 4 years in university, I said I should rather go and learn this craft. I stayed 2 years in Khan al-Khalili and I learned the basics of the craft.
Her inspiration comes from Egyptian folk culture, pharaonic design, scriptures that characterize Arabic customs, as well as Ottoman influences. Skilled craftsmen at the other Fanmi factory use different techniques such as lace and hand piercings to turn those traditions into radical designs. The jewelry is large and heavy, embedded with detail and precious stones. Unlike her mother, Amina Gali studied at a British university before joining her mother's business to inject her vision. She is aware of her competitors, and yet she is not shaken.
What is good is that the Egyptian market is starting to revitalize itself over the past 10 years. People always tell me, but you have a lot of competition. That is a good thing. Competition is a good thing. It is a very healthy thing because it makes me want to do my job better.
Fanmi has also opened her own design studio to help others become skilled jewelers. The studio offers students and entrepreneurs a specialized jewelry design and making course that teaches all aspects of jewelry and metal smithing techniques. Her online store sells her products to clients in Australia, the United States, and Europe. Fanmi's work has also been featured at London and New York Fashion Week and in collaborations with leading international designers. Her jewelry is also popular among celebrities, with pop stars Rihanna and Jill Stone spotted wearing her iconic designs.
Do you love beautiful clothes, fashion and style, but your finances are too tight? There could be a solution for your problem. Multi-talented artist Maxine Jefter is in studio and is here to teach you how to improvise with what you already have. She's a stylist, a poet, fitness coach, public speaker and more. Maxine, thank you so much for joining us.
It's good to be here.
Now, you're a woman of many, many talents. How do you juggle it all?
Look, I get very bored when I'm doing one thing, and I probably suck when I do one thing. So I'm great at time management. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very intentional about how I spend my time, who I spend my time with, and yeah. So that's how I did.
All right. Now, you want to dress up South Africa. How are you going to go about, with doing that?
My scope of interest is ordinary people. I think ordinary people need styling solutions, and that's where I've started. It's going into normal people's homes and saying, hey, what's in your wardrobe? What are you trying to look like? Let me help you. And part of that is decluttering. It's we call it a wardrobe detox. It's usually an intense process, but it's a starting point.
Oh, now speaking of detox, in one of your articles you wrote that dressing is an art and a healing process. How so?
It's an art because you must be creative, okay? Everybody has their individual style, right? But what I come in and do is to say, okay, how do we bring out your style without it looking like somebody else's style? You know what I mean? And the healing process is actually you starting to embrace what you actually look like. Because a lot of people are not dressing for what they actually look like. They're dressing the way so-and-so dresses or what they think they should be wearing because their boss, would think of them in this way. So the healing process is starting to embrace who you are, and that's where I come in and help people.
All right. Now, Maxine, you're also a poet. Do you maybe, how do you maybe incorporate that with your fashion?
I try to look good. I try to look good when I perform. I'm that girl who will have that extra, item because I like, being artistic. I like being stylish. I come from a family of stylish people. My grandmother's stylish, my mother's stylish. So that part of my personality has to always come out in my poetry.
All right. Now, in terms of finances, how do we then maybe economize? If we want to look good, but we want to, spend a reasonable amount of money, how do we go about, with doing
Let me start by talking about upgrades, right? When you want to upgrade your wardrobe, you start with what you've got. How do I wear this that I've got here differently? And then you start investing in signature pieces, right, and staples. So, for instance, you can get a pair of new black pants that now fit you, that you can wear with a loose top that's already in your cupboard. Or you can buy a signature jacket that you can wear with all black. That's where you start. And then you start getting creative.
All right. Now, I understand that you have like a short little piece that you're going to do for us. Maybe do that for us before we wrap up.
Okay. This piece is called Yours and Mine. Standing on either side of the sun, surrounded by the same light and the same rain. I wonder, do we hear the same song sung by these African hills? Our toes buried beneath the same sand, slept by the same dust. Must we always pretend we do not hear the same song? Must we always ignore that we are born of the same womb that carries that lion's roar and whispers a Johnny Clegg's song in the night? I wonder, do we not hear the still song of the hills burning in our hearts? And when our faces are scorched by the same sun, years peeping through our lines, yours a deeper red, mine a deeper dark, I wondered, could we dance to the same tune and tune into the power of our harmonies to this here African tune? Just as the beat goes and the winds sway to the African sunset, as their lullaby is constantly embedded in our eyes. What if we knew our hills made the same soil? Dunked the same pot, birthed the same toil, dipped the same taste of memories. Our trucks run by the same oil. Would you and I reach the same stars? Or see the same view from the left behind your blue eyes? What if all that was left was this African song? Could we sing along and join in this courageous applause? I wonder, do we hear the same song sung by these African hills?
Thank you so much, Maxine, but time is up. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. Now, you are still watching Afroshowbiz News. Now, if you've missed any of our shows, be sure to catch them on our YouTube channel by simply searching for Afroshowbiz News. Time now for another ad break, but do stay tuned. Welcome back. To some people, music is a form of entertainment and a way out to forget one's everyday troubles. But to a prominent Egyptian conductor and composer, Salim Sahab is a therapy. He uses his musical talent to try to transform the lives of disadvantaged children in his country. He's created the Children of Egypt chorus, made up of street children and young people from charities. Sahab has dedicated his life to children. His rich resume includes founding and managing children's choirs in Beirut as well as Cairo, where his name has become a way of hope for many. Sahab says the idea came to him after seeing the suffering of children begging or selling goods in the streets.
When I will be on the street and see children selling tissues, I will say, what if that child had the chance to learn? He could have been better than me. He could have become a genius, a doctor, or an inventor. Why don't we provide a chance for these children to learn and shine and show us their talent? It was hurtful for me.
The group has been steadily improving and even performed at a concert at Cairo University. But it's been a long journey for Sahab, who had to abandon traditional methods in order to reach out to the children.
I abandoned all the academic methods that I was taught because that did not work with them. I started creating my own methods to make them love singing. We went up from 120 to 800 students. I started a closed camp for them, 6 days, where every day they will train 6 or so hours from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m.
The disadvantaged children have a heap of problems. While they are impoverished and suffer from lack of opportunities, many are also dealing with psychological issues. The music workshops conducted have a profound impact on them. Ramadan, who used to work on the streets of Cairo until he was scouted by a member of Sahab's team, says he hopes to continue singing.
Now one could really look at himself. It is a really nice thing. I feel deep inside that I will be something nice. I feel that I will sing and make it. I'm sure I will sing.
The United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, also known as UNICEF, say Egyptian NGOs estimate numbers of children in the streets of the country to be in the tens of thousands. They often live in unhealthy and dangerous conditions, deprived of basic needs for security and supervision. We have now come to the end of our show, but be sure to catch the repeats every Sunday at 2 a.m. and again at 1:30 p.m. Today we'll be playing out with DJ Melon's Kozu Kuse, so do enjoy. Until next time, it's thank you and bye-bye.
Goose.